Hi everyone. Today I'm going to make some meatloaf. Actually, it's what we always teased Mama about. We always called it her jailhouse meatloaf because she would take and put a knife in the center of the meatloaf. Let me see. Probably, I actually have it. This butter knife. It's a stainless steel butter knife and I kept it because it's the same one Mom used to always stick down in the center of our meatloaf. We don't like any raw meat. I don't want it pink. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like their meat. They like to eat it pink. Not me. Not our family. No. We just don't do that. So, and Mom had to fix for quite a few of us. So she would take 4 pounds of meat, and to make sure that it would cook properly and she didn't have to wait so long to cook, she would take this stainless steel knife and she would stick it right down in the center of it. And it helped with two things. It cooked, the heat would get in this and would cook from the inside out also. But it also divided the meatloaf in half so that when she cut it, it was already split down the middle. So it was already pre-portioned. So, 2 for 1. So I always teased Mama and I called it her jailhouse meatloaf. Of course, over the years, I've added my own seasonings and different spices and stuff. And this is my own mixture of stuff for this meatloaf. But I still call it Mama's jailhouse meatloaf for the simple fact that I still put the knife in the center. I don't have to, but every time I do, it reminds me of Mama. And to me, that's special. And, maybe they think I'm crazy. I don't care. Everybody knows I am anyway. Just takes it over the top. Follow along with me and I'll show you how to make Mama's jailhouse meatloaf. So I'm just going to show you what spices I have. I just stuck them all in this bowl here. Let me use my knife here. I've got a teaspoon and a half, maybe a little bit more than a teaspoon and a half of dried basil. This is what I dehydrated this year. I'll use my finger. I've got paprika. I'll write all these, I'll put this all down in the description, but I have a teaspoon and a half of paprika, a teaspoon and a half of dry mustard, a half a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more of salt, a half a teaspoon of thyme. I have got a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and then I also have here a half cup of oats. I put oats in my oatmeal. I will also be putting in a half cup of ketchup. This one just happens to be Hunt's. And I will be putting in a half a cup of milk. So I've got all my spices here. I'm just going to put them in here on my meatloaf. Also, 1 egg. Some people put 2. I only put in 1. Need about, just eyeball it, maybe half a cup of, that looks like a half cup ketchup. And then, of course, a half a cup of milk. I only have a 1/4 cup here, so. And then I'll get this all stirred together. And I'm just going to start it with a fork because I don't like sticking my hands in this. And if you mix it too hard, then it turns to mush. And you gotta really, your meatloaf won't turn out real moist. Who likes a tough meatloaf? I know I don't. Okay, now I'm going to add my oats. I just used Quaker oats. You know what? Mix this all up. Shape it. And then we'll put it, I'll show you what we do next. I've got me a cast iron ready here. I'm gonna put a little oil in the bottom of that. Just a little bit, not much. Because the meatloaf's going to have a lot in it anyway, once it's starts cooking. I just don't like to put anything in here on this. I don't want it to really stick to the bottom of my pan too much. But anyway, got my mixture here. I'm not pushing it too hard. I didn't want to like smush it all real hard together and work it in real well, because then you compromise the structure of the beef. But it makes it real dense, and it just makes it chewy instead of the way we want it. So I put it in my pan like this. And I take Mama's knife. Of course, I usually make a bigger meatloaf than this, so this is a little crazy, but this is how we did it. And we would just drop it down the center like this, so it'd be almost like 2 meatloaves. And we would come in and just push it together like this. I always told Mama she was hiding the knife. I said, it's like you're sitting to the jailhouse, Mama, in a cake. And she would laugh at me, so that's how we came up with that. I go ahead and I put a little ketchup on it. But I washed my hands, but I'm going to just do this again. And I rub it in a little. You don't have to do this step, it's what I do. And I will just lay a sheet of aluminum foil on this. Aluminum foil on it. So, set the oven for 350. It's already preheated. Let that go for 1 hour. I don't know what my mom's going to think about me putting this recipe out here, but my grandson was wanting me to make sure that I filmed this recipe. So here you go, boy. Now it's up to your mama to cook it for you. I was trying to decide on what I was going to make with this meatloaf, and I found out. I went and got me some of my canned green beans. I'll make some green beans, and I got some potatoes. I'll make some green beans and mashed potatoes, and biscuits. I like to freeze. I make a bunch of biscuits up and I freeze them. I'll take about 6 of these biscuits out. The boys will like those. I say boys, but it's my husband and grandson. He will be eating them tonight, so I think that sounds good. Meatloaf, gravy, mashed potatoes, green beans, and some biscuits. I'll show you how to do these one day. These are actually buttermilk biscuits, and my sister gifted me these freezer bags. They're reusable. Oh, I love them. They're real thick. We saw another YouTuber. We watch other YouTubers, of course, because I'm a YouTuber. I like to watch other YouTubers. But we saw one of the ladies had these, and I thought, oh, yeah, that's a little, you know, I wasn't going to pay this for it. I'm frugal when it comes to that stuff. I don't like to pay out the money for that stuff. My sister gifted me this. Thank you, sis. I really appreciate these because I love these. They turned out really well. But for now, I'll keep these in a freezer. When the time comes, I can just pop those in the oven. In about 12 minutes, they'll be done. I'll just glaze them with a little bit of, I use whipping cream milk. You know, the heavy milk. I'll glaze the top of them, throw them in the oven on 450 for about 10 to 12 minutes till they're golden brown. They turn out great. And these would be good too. I'll get these started now. I got my potatoes on the stove. Those are good. Get those going. I've got my green beans going and some chicken broth. Getting ready. Meatloaf's out of the oven. I took the foil off, but I think I'm going to put it in there for another 5 minutes. Let it brown up a little bit on top. I hope you like this meatloaf recipe and it does well for you. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And then until next time, God bless, and I hope you all come back.